because I always seem to fall for the men that are unattainable, especially when it comes to looks. So I have to be careful, and I always tend to flirt with the cute guys, or who I deem as cute guys. And but it's not even that, because a lot of the guys that I see also have great personality. Because I'm one of those people. If you're someone who always seems to be down or negative, or how some gays can be very catty, and they don't like anyone, they antisocial, and they don't. That, for me, that turns me off, because it's like, well, if you're like that now, how are you going to? I don't want to be around that 24 hours a day. At least the guys that I like usually have outgoing personalities. They too also know how to be the life of the party. That's something else that I liked about the guys that I have liked, other than one, which is my best friend. Completely opposite. He was just really, out of all the guys, he was a notch above. Gorgeous. Completely different personality, which when I sit back and go, I can't believe that it was all about looks. But usually the guys that I like have, they're like me. Outgoing personalities where you can because you can sit back and you don't have to entertain, because you know that they're going to do a great job. So you can pull, you know what I mean? People. They know how to chat. They know how to calm a room down. Great smiles. Because I tend to like, I tend to like guys who are kind of like me. Although for the last many years I've been kind of not like that because of anxiety and been withdrawn. But I also have the guy kind of have to have, not kind of, same political views as I. This is mental health issue. That's what this thing was about. And we're going to get back to that, because therapy was great today. And I just took a sidetrack, but yeah, they have to have same political views, because I'm a liberal. They have to be a Democrat. Can't deal with a brother who, not say that, just that's a whole different belief system and whatever, but people, also not so dependent, because I'm an Aries. So I need to be with somebody who is who's not going to be codependent, that's going to have their own life. And I'm okay. If I like somebody, I'm jealous, but I know, but once I had them, all that jealousy would dissipate. Does that make sense? Like, I've noticed that when I like somebody, I do get jealous when they're talking to other people, or I think I was just going, this now, just talk about this incident I'm in now. This person that I'm not infatuated. Not in a infatuated means like you're crazy. But he's a really good guy, and he has the potential to be impeccable. The potential to be impeccable when he rises to the occasion. And I see that. I see the full potential in this brother. I see it. And so I have a tendency to, whenever I hear, and I also told him, I said, I need to hear you talk about so because that helps me, because this is not the first time I've been in an incident where I like someone and then they didn't, and I had to settle for a friendship with my best friend. We've been friends for 30 years. The other guys that I liked, although they're not in my lives, not because of anything negative, they moved and, we started doing different things. I had to settle for friendship, and so I learned that I have to, but at first it's so hard, because you get jealous, because you think, God, all these guys get the opportunity to bid for his love. You know what I mean? They get a chance to go after his heart, and he's open to that. And I don't get that chance. He's not going to see me in that light, because I don't have what other qualities these other guys have. You know what I mean? So that's where especially at this incident I'm in now, that's where the jealousy come in, because it's like, and then the guys that he's talking to, I don't believe are good enough for him. They're not going to bring out the best in him. They're going to bring out, I don't believe, from what I know and what he tells me, and then the stuff, my first thought, and I can't say that to him. I can't, because he'll get defensive, and then, I don't want to get him pissed off, or, be the father, because I'm not his father, or whatever. I'm his friend. I'm part of the network. So I just have to listen. My first thing is like, no, these guys are not going to bring out the best in you. They're feeding in, which you don't understand it, that you are attracted to those guys because they are feeding into that low frequency of you. That same energy that you are trying to recover from, that you are trying to change. The guys that you are attracting to you are feeding, you guys are feeding off that same frequency. And if you're not careful, that frequency can cause you to go back forward when you've been doing so great, because it's feeding off that same frequency of and I won't go into, the recovery aspect of it, but it's feeding. I see that. And then I think about, without going too crazy, even with feeling like, I also played into that frequency in a sense when we went on a vacation. And I now feel like some of the choices I made also was made on was part of, because we're on the same frequency in a sense of issues and like-minded. And instead of me rising above it and doing something different, I found myself matching his frequency, because we have the same, you know what I mean? And when I look back, I'm like, God, I wish I would have risen above it and not played into my own issues, my own weakness, and let him do his thing and not judge it, which I didn't judge it, but not participate in that energy. And I also think that might have put some distance. And I think it would have been better if I would have risen above it and not played on that frequency. But I also played on the frequency because it was like my opportunity to be close to him. You know what I mean? To be close to him. So that was, and which was also a wake-up call, because it also made me realize, wait a minute, I need to be careful, because what if I meet somebody in my network and when we all have the same frequency, the history of the same frequency, and something happens, so because I want to be with this guy, that I allow myself, if he goes off the edge, I allow myself to go off the edge because I want to be with him. So it brought that, like, oh my God, I have to be careful with that. Because if you get two like-minded people who have that lowercase frequency, when I mean lowercase frequency, that frequency that lives in the darkness of, alcohol or drug abuse or sexual abuse or acting out sexually or other things, you can, because you're all on the same frequency, you can wind up diving over with no one rising above, pulling up, saying, no, we can't go there, pulling the other one up. And that's what I'm talking about, that I didn't rise above it. And I couldn't rise above it because it was also my frequency. And because I wanted to be with this person, I felt like that was the only way that I can have some kind of closeness. And now when I look back, that brings not guilt and shame, because I understand it, disappointment, because I didn't understand it at the moment in the time. But all I can do is build back better. That's all I can do with the friendship, is build back better, and make sure the next time, because there will be a next time that we go on vacation and we're hanging out, that I'm going to be the big brother and lead by example. But I have a better understanding, because this is the first time that I had a clear understanding of frequency, of everyone's frequency, and birds of a feather flock together, and understanding that, especially this network that I'm dealing with, recovery, that we all have that lower frequency. You know what I mean? And it can be acted out in many ways of drugs, sex, you know what I mean? Although we're all in recovery, and if you do link up with someone in that frequency that are working on that, you know what I mean? You have to be aware to make sure that someone is able to bring one another up when they're on that, you know, impulsivity, acting out, and other ways that may, other than using drugs or alcohol. So, guys, it's really deep. It's deep what I'm talking about. But anyway, so that was something that I am understanding, and it was a blessing. It's a gift, because I have a clear understanding of frequency and how not to succumb. Because in order to succumb to that frequency, you also have to be on that same frequency. So I have to take ownership. It's not like I wouldn't have succumbed if my frequency was not there, if it was higher. If my own natural frequency was higher, then no, I would have been a spectator, and you know, and but I wouldn't have succumbed to it, because my frequency is on the same frequency, and that's why I'm in recovery, to rise above that and to learn about myself, so you don't act out on many destructive fronts. So that was a great understanding for me in that process. So the feelings are still there, and you know, hopefully in time they will dissolve and they will manifest as something else, because this person is, I think, is an absolutely brilliant, great person. And I hate saying that, because then you think someone else is gonna, you know, but it is what it is. So yeah, so it's tough, because I have to, you know, I'm walking a thin line, you know, knowing that I had this mental stuff going on. And at this present time, my emotions are so open on so many levels, when it comes to me, and it comes to that friendship, when it comes to my family, when it comes to my mental, like my emotions are just open and raw. And I'm assuming everything. And I'm throwing everything out as if it's coming at me. Like I'm assuming all this stuff, and I'm assuming it in a way that is out to get me. It's destructive. But my reality is off. So I know the way I'm consuming the information is off, because my reality is off. So I'm aware of that, but it still makes it hard, because my natural instinct is to consume it, but to consume it in a toxic way, non-informational way, non-informative way. You know what I mean? It's all about, they have to get me, they have to get me, they have to get me. Everybody's out to hurt me. The signs people like it. No one loves me. You know what I mean? And I know that's not the reality. So it's really tough, but I also am blessed to where I have an understanding, a conscious understanding of what's going on, which right now I'm lucky. I don't know how long that higher consciousness is going to be the last, if I don't get this mental stuff taken care of. Because I do believe that the deeper I go, eventually it's going to collide, and the higher conscious is going to wind up being the loser, which means I'm going to wind up being a loser. You know what I mean? So yeah. So that's one of the great things about going to therapy, having a two therapists, and talking about different issues, different things, and because I'm someone, I want to get down to the bottom of this, so you know, I can have a great life, and hopefully someday I can find a man who will see me, hear me, validate me, appreciate me, and also I'll be in a place to do the same. Like I want to come as a whole person, so I can attract a whole person. So we have two full dynamic circles moving forward in this wonderful space to build a legacy, to build on something. and with